Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're exploring how to build trust and authority in e-commerce.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
Absolutely. I mean, why do some online stores really struggle to convert even when they've got great products, while others just seem to, make sales easily?
It often comes down to trust, doesn't it?
That's what we hear.
In this crowded online market, trust is basically the ultimate currency. You've probably felt it yourself, right?
Oh.
You find something you want, you get to the checkout, and then you pause. You're just not sure about putting in those credit card details.
Yeah, that hesitation. That's the trust gap we're talking about.
Exactly.
And that's our focus today. We're digging into the materials you provided specifically, building trust and authority in e-commerce, the credibility blueprint, e-commerce psychology.
Right.
Our mission here is to pull out the really actionable stuff from this blueprint. We want to give you a clear roadmap to build a store that doesn't just get visitors, but actually earns their trust, turns those hesitant clicks into, well, confident buyers.
Let's do it.
Okay. And just quickly, this deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart discount campaigns on your store. You can test it free on Shopify. Just find it on the Shopify App Store.
Great tool.
So, all right, the blueprint kicks things off with these foundational ideas. And one of the first concepts is this trust equation.
Yes. And it's actually quite insightful. It breaks down like this. Trust equals credibility plus reliability plus intimacy.
Okay.
All of that divided by self-interest.
Divided by self-interest. That's interesting.
It really is. Because that self-interest, being the divisor, means even a small perception that you're putting profits first can seriously damage trust.
Even if you're credible and reliable otherwise.
Exactly. It highlights how sensitive customers are to feeling like they're just being sold to,
Okay, so let's break this down. Credibility, that's about looking knowledgeable, truthful, like having a professional design, accurate info.
Precisely. Your site needs to look the part. And the information, product details, company info, it all has to be accurate and easy to find. It's about appearing competent.
Got it. And reliability.
That's all about consistency. Delivering on your promises, hitting those shipping estimates you provide, ensuring the product quality actually matches the description.
Yeah.
And, maybe most importantly, having customer service that's actually helpful and responsive when, inevitably, something goes wrong.
Right, because things do go wrong sometimes.
They do.
Yeah.
How you handle it is key for reliability.
Okay, then intimacy. That sounds a bit different. Is that about connecting emotionally?
Yeah, it's about showing the human side. Sharing your brand story, your values, making a connection that goes beyond just the transaction itself.
Building a relationship, almost.
Sort of, yes. And then that divisor, self-interest, you minimize the perception of that by genuinely helping the customer.
How do you do that?
Well, offering helpful buying guides, for example. Content that educates them, helps them make the right choice, even if they don't buy immediately. It shows you care about their needs, not just the sale.
That makes a lot of sense. That equation really frames it well. The blueprint also talks about cognitive biases, these mental shortcuts we take when making decisions online.
Yeah, and they massively impact how trust forms in e-commerce. Our brains are wired to make quick judgments.
So like social proof bias, we trust things more if others trust them.
Exactly. That's why customer reviews, testimonials, user counts, they're so incredibly powerful. It's like, oh, lots of other people bought this and liked it, so it must be okay.
Right. And authority bias, trusting experts.
We tend to defer to perceived authorities. So displaying industry awards, certifications, or even just having a very professional expert tone can trigger this bias positively for you.
Okay. What about consistency bias?
We like things to be predictable. We trust experiences that match our expectations. So if your branding, your messaging, your service, if it's all consistent across every touch point,
It feels more reliable.
precisely, it builds that subconscious feeling of dependability.
And loss aversion, that's the fear of losing something, right? How does that impact trust online?
It's huge online because the main fear is losing money or not getting what you paid for.
Yeah, the risk feels higher.
Definitely. This is why things like really clear, generous return policies and money-back guarantees are so effective. They directly counter that fear of loss.
They reduce the perceived risk.
Exactly. And then there's the aesthetic usability effect.
Which basically means pretty things work better. Or we think they do.
Kind of. A visually appealing, easy-to-use website feels more trustworthy. It signals professionalism, investment, competence.
It's amazing how quickly we judge that. The blueprint mentions the neuroscience like 50 milliseconds for our visual cortex to assess design quality.
Incredible, isn't it? Just a fraction of a second. And then other parts of the brain jump in. The amygdala flags potential risks,
Right.
like if security seals are missing.
Mm-hmm.
The ventral striatum responds positively to trust signals like certifications or good reviews, seeing them as rewarding. And the prefrontal cortex tries to logically evaluate things like your policies.
Wow. So tiny details like standard navigation or security badges, they really have a direct impact on our brain's trust assessment.
Absolutely. It's not just a vague feeling.
Which leads to the idea that you can actually sort of measure trust through behavior. The blueprint talks about using analytics. What should we look for?
Yeah, you can get clues from how people interact with your site. Look at your bounce rate, for instance, especially on critical pages like product pages or the checkout.
If people are leaving quickly from there, it might be a trust issue.
Could be, yeah. Also, look at engagement depth. Are people clicking through to read your About Us page, your shipping policy, your return policy?
If they are, it suggests they're seriously considering buying, trying to verify you.
Exactly. They're doing their due diligence. And cart abandonment patterns are crucial too.
The classic problem.
Right. When are they abandoning? Is it after seeing the shipping costs? Or maybe right when they get to the payment input fields? That can signal issues with price transparency or payment security fears.
Okay. And return visitor rate. That seems like a good sign of trust.
Definitely. If people are coming back directly to your site, you've likely earned some level of trust. And even things like newsletter signups or account creations.
People giving you their info.
Yeah, it shows a baseline trust that you'll handle their data responsibly. Tracking these metrics helps you pinpoint where those trust hurdles might be.
Makes sense. Identify the leaks in the trust funnel, so to speak.
You got it. Now, building on that, the blueprint introduces a really helpful framework, the trust signal hierarchy.
Okay, the idea that some signals are more fundamental than others.
Exactly. Not all trust signals carry the same weight. At the very bottom, the absolute foundation is your security infrastructure. These are the non-negotiables.
The must-haves, like HTTPS, the padlock.
Yep. HTTPSL is table stakes now. If you handle payments, PCI DSS compliance is essential. And displaying the secure payment logos, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, etc., is vital.
And clear privacy policies, GDPR, CCPA, compliance stuff.
Absolutely foundational. If these things are missing, it's not just neutral, it actively creates distrust. It's like the entry ticket to even be considered trustworthy.
Okay, so security is layer one. What's built on top of that?
The next layer is transparency architecture. This is all about being open and clear about everything surrounding the purchase.
Like showing the full price up front, no surprise shipping fees at the very end.
Exactly. All-inclusive pricing is huge. Clear, easy-to-find return and refund policies are also critical here.
What else falls under transparency?
Things like information about where your products come from, product sourcing, your company's contact information, maybe even a physical location if you have one. Realistic shipping timelines.
Being upfront about how long things will actually take.
Right, and interestingly, the research mentioned suggests that being honest about potential negatives like this item ships in 5-7 days can actually increase trust because it feels more authentic than pretending everything is instant.
That's counterintuitive, but makes sense. Honesty, even about slight drawbacks. So, security, then transparency. What's next?
Then we get into social proof. The blueprint calls this progressive trust building layers because it really builds on itself.
Right, we talked about the bias, we trust what others trust. How does the hierarchy work here?
It sort of builds in intensity. Level 1 is basic usage stats. Join 10,000 plus happy customers. Simple, broad validation.
Okay, level 2.
That's your star ratings and the sheer number of reviews. Seeing 4.5 stars from 500 reviews is more concrete than just the user count.
Then level 3 gets more detailed.
Yes, level 3 is the actual content of detailed customer reviews, where people share their specific experiences, maybe upload photos, and crucially, having that verified purchase badge adds a lot of weight.
Showing it's a real customer.
Exactly. Level 4 goes deeper still, customer stories, case studies, longer narratives about how someone benefited from your product.
More engaging, more personal.
Definitely. And the top level, level 5, is community content, user-generated stuff, people sharing their own photos or videos, using your product on social media, for instance.
Real people, real use. The blueprint suggests more personal, detailed proof like videos has the biggest impact.
Generally, yes. Seeing and hearing a real person is often more persuasive.
Okay. Moving up the hierarchy. Platform authority markers, what are those?
This is where you borrow trust from established external entities, like third-party validation.
So things like industry certifications, USDA organic, fair trade, that kind of thing.
Yep. Or business accreditations, like from the Better Business Bureau. Media mentions those as seen in logos, industry awards, even logos of well-known partners or clients.
You're leveraging their reputation.
Exactly. The key is relevance and not overdoing it. Pick the ones that matter most to your audience and display them clearly, but don't clutter the page.
Right. And the final layer mentioned is real-time trust indicators.
Yeah, these add a sense of immediacy, activity, and sort of FOMO, fear of missing out, but in a trust-building way, if done right.
Like inventory counters, only 5 left.
Exactly. Or those little pop-ups saying, someone in London just bought X, live visitor count on a product page, real-time customer service status, chat available now, even just updated timestamps like last ordered 5 minutes ago.
It shows the store is active, alive, other people are trusting it right now.
Precisely. But a strong caution here. Authenticity is crucial. Fake urgency or fake activity notifications are easily spotted and will absolutely backfire, destroying trust.
Yeah, don't fake it. That seems like a core theme.
It really is.
Okay, that hierarchy is super useful. Security, transparency, social proof layers, authority markers, real-time indicators. But the blueprint then goes into advanced social proof systems, taking it further.
Yeah, moving beyond just basic reviews into more robust systems, one key area is creating verified purchase ecosystems.
To fight fake reviews, right. That's a big concern for
A
shoppers.
huge one. We're all skeptical. So elements here include those prominent verified purchase badges, obviously.
Yeah.
Sending review invitations that are explicitly linked to an actual completed order. Having clear policies stating you don't manipulate reviews.
What else?
Ensuring you display a balanced range of reviews, not just the 5-star ones. And critically, having a process for responding publicly to reviews, especially the negative ones.
How you handle criticism can actually build trust.
Absolutely. A thoughtful response to a negative review shows you care, you listen, and you're willing to address problems. It can actually make your positive reviews seem more credible.
Interesting. Okay, what other advanced systems? Behavioral social proof?
This taps into showing what other shoppers are doing right now or recently. It creates these subtle, implicit endorsements.
Trending now labels.
Exactly, or frequently bought together. Purchase activity feeds, showing how many people have wish-listed an item. Even stats on product interaction, like viewed by 100 people in the last hour.
It leverages that wisdom of the crowd idea.
Right. It creates what social scientists call information cascades. We assume others know something we don't, so we follow their lead.
Clever. Then there's community-curated content strategies.
This is about actively encouraging and showcasing content from your customers. It builds trust and a sense of community simultaneously.
Like customer photo galleries on product pages.
Perfect example. Or video testimonials, integrating user posts from social media onto your site, running contests for user-generated content, having community Q&A sections where customers answer each other's questions.
Even letting customers submit product ideas.
Yeah. It creates emotional investment and powerful, authentic social proof.
Influencer credibility stacking is another one. Sounds strategic.
It is. It's less about one giant celebrity and more about strategic partnerships. The blueprint highlights working with micro-influencers.
People with smaller but really engaged and trusting niche audiences.
Exactly. Building genuine long-term relationships rather than one-off posts. Maybe involving them behind the scenes. And always being transparent about the sponsorship. Authenticity and genuine belief in the product are paramount.
Seems like that's always the catch with influencers.
It is. The audience can sniff out fakes easily.
Okay, and the last advanced social proof type, institutional social proof. Borrowing credibility from big organizations.
Right. Think collaborations with universities on research related to your product category, endorsements from respected professional associations, partnerships with well-regarded NGOs or nonprofits.
Government recognition, major corporate clients if you're B2B.
Exactly. These take more time and effort to develop, obviously, but they can provide a really deep, lasting layer of credibility.
Okay, so we've covered trust signals and advanced social proof. Let's switch slightly to authority. The blueprint says establishing authority creates a presumption of quality and trust.
Yeah, if you're seen as the expert, people are just more inclined to trust your recommendations and your products. A key way to build this is through content authority mapping. Think EAT.
Expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. That's big in SEO too, right?
Huge. It means creating content blog posts, guides, articles that truly demonstrates deep subject matter expertise, offering original insights, not just rehashing others' work, ensuring factual accuracy, citing sources, keeping information current, and displaying credentials where appropriate. The goal is to become the go-to resource in your niche.
Makes sense. Position yourself as the leader through knowledge.
Exactly. Another tactic is SME integration, subject matter expert integration.
Bringing external experts into your brand.
Yes, forming an expert advisory board, having specialists contribute content, collaborating with experts on product development, hosting Q&As with them, offering training programs certified by experts.
But it has to be real involvement, right? Not just sticking a name on the website.
Absolutely. Token associations don't build real authority. It needs to be substantive.
Got it. The blueprint also mentions research-backed product development storytelling.
Yeah, this is about pulling back the curtain on how and why your products were developed. It builds trust through transparency and demonstrated expertise.
So documenting the R&D journey, sharing testing results.
Exactly. Showing data, maybe comparative analyses against competitors, explaining how customer feedback shaped the product, highlighting the scientific principles behind it, if applicable. It's very effective for, say, technical gear, supplements, skincare.
Things where the how really matters to the customer.
Precisely. Another powerful authority builder is creating and sharing original data or research.
Conducting your own studies.
Yes, proprietary industry surveys, benchmark reports, trend analyses based on your own data, publishing white papers or detailed case studies, maybe even creating open data initiatives.
Wow, that really positions you as a leader, not just a seller.
Unmatched authority comes from creating knowledge, not just curating it.
And the final authority tactic mentioned is certification stacking. We touched on certifications as trust signals, but this sounds more strategic for authority.
It is. It's about thoughtfully acquiring a portfolio of relevant certifications that, together, build a strong narrative of quality, ethics, security, or whatever is most important to your customers.
So maybe product quality certs plus environmental ones plus data security, creating a combined effect.
Exactly. A strategic stack that addresses key customer concerns and builds a cumulative case for your authority and trustworthiness.
It's clear that building trust and authority isn't just one thing. It's a whole ecosystem of actions.
It really is. It's multifaceted, drawing on psychology, transparent practices, social validation, and demonstrating genuine expertise. And it's an ongoing effort.
We've covered a lot: the psychology, the trust signal hierarchy, deep dives into social proof, building authority through content and experts.
It's a comprehensive approach.
So the provocative thought to leave everyone with: thinking about your own store, your own situation, what's the one trust-building element we've discussed today that if you implemented it soon could potentially have the biggest positive impact?
Yeah, take a first look at your customer journey, maybe from product discovery all the way to checkout, but specifically wearing that trust lens. Where are the potential friction points? Where could you add reassurance?
Because building trust, as you said, it's not a set it and forget it task. It requires continuous attention, measurement, and adapting to what your customers need to feel confident.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. And remember, this deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you run smart data count campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.